guys, my name is Sam. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about my 25 in 2025. This is the first year that I'm going to be doing this, but I decided to do it because Bree from 4PawsandaBook made it into a bingo. And if you know me, you know that I have an overly obsessive attitude about book bingo, and I will forever, I think, participate in as many of them as I ever can. So the fact that she put it in a bingo board was just perfect for me. And so I said, well, now I have to do a X books in X years video. So that's what we will be talking about today. Also, yes, I am super excited to debut my new look. Hopefully you guys like it. But let's get into these books. I have the prompts written down in a notebook, so I'm not sure whether I'm going across or down, but I'm gonna have the bingo board up here, so we'll figure it out. The first prompt on the board is a 2025 release. And for this, I'm going to be picking up King of Envy by Anna Huang. I'm obsessed with her. Me and the girls have been reading through her series after they did the Twisted read-along. We read all of the Kings of Sin books together, and so this is the one that's going to be coming out, I believe, in April of 2025, and I'm super fucking excited to read it. The next prompt is one word title, and for this I'm slotting in Belladonna by Adeline Grace. This all my friends have raved about in 2024, and so I am pretty much the last person in the group to read it, and I'm super excited for it. Most of them have loved it and are actually reading the rest of the series right now. And this one follows a girl who was orphaned and kind of fostered by a bunch of different families, and she makes an alliance with Death to figure out a murder mystery that's happening in the book. Super excited to read it. Hoping that I love it as much as everybody else, and if I do, hoping I can get my hands on the very pretty box set that is on Amazon. The next prompt involves travel, and because I am filming this kind of late, January 12th when I'm filming this, the book that I slotted in for this prompt was actually Euro Dreams by Kate Stewart, and I have already read it. For me personally, I didn't love it. It was super cringy. I'm just not the biggest fan of Kate Stewart's rom-com vibes, but I did read it, so actually I'm already one book down of this 25 in 2025. This one was about a doctor and his assistant, aka the male main character and the female main character. They travel to England to perform a heart surgery together, and they kind of, like, you know, have that downtime where they're getting to know each other and falling in love. The next prompt is to read a book with a number in the title, and for this I'm slotting in One Last Rainy Day. Who is surprised? And if you are, you shouldn't be, because I read the entire Ravenhood trilogy last year and loved it, and I never got around to reading this one. This is Dom's story, and yeah, I had it on 1 or 2 TBRs last year, but I just couldn't bring myself to read it yet. I know this is going to break me all over again, and I just think I need to be in the right headspace for it, but I am planning on reading it sometime this year. So this is going on my 25 in 2025. The next prompt is to read a cover by, and for this I'm putting My Dark Romeo by Parker S. Huntington and LJ Shen. I mean, the cover speaks for itself, as you can see. This is loosely based on Beauty and the Beast. Are we surprised? And I already have the sequel in this series, but I have heard mixed reviews about this, so this one I'm kind of nervous about. I just hope that I personally love it, because I love the covers of this series so much that I would hate to have to unhaul this. The next prompt is to read a seasonal book, and I believe even as far as to read said seasonal book in the season that it occurs. And for this, I'm slotting in A Very Merry Bromance by Lissa K. Adams. Is this book 5 in a series? Yes. Am I on book 1? Also yes. So you may be wondering, Sam, why are you putting this on here? But I hope to make great progress on my series this year, and so hopefully by the time December comes, I can read this. But obviously, because it's book 5, I don't really know much about it, and I wouldn't really want to tell you much about it regardless, because that would kind of ruin it. But they are, I think, interconnected standalones, and each one follows a different guy in the reading club that they have. So super excited to get around to this. Hopefully I can make way on this series. Next prompt is LGBTQ rep, and for this I'm sliding in Heartstopper Volume 5. I read volumes 1 through 4 in 2024 and I absolutely love them, and actually was gifted this during the very Mary Swoony sleepover by one of the girls in the group. So thank you so much. I believe her name was Misty. Super excited to read this and get up to date in this series. The next prompt is to read a new release from one of my favorite authors, and for this I'm slotting in the third book in the Boys of Avix series, which should be coming out in 2025. Obviously, if that does not happen, then I will slot something else in, but that is what I know as of right now. I have not read Promise Me Not yet, but it is on my list for my January TBR, so hopefully I can get to that. And obviously I have no title or cover. You Swear is the first book in this series, and so that being one of my favorite books of all time, this is definitely a series that I anticipate and really do want to continue to read. So this is going to be slotted in for this prompt. The next prompt is to read a hyped book, and I thought what better book to put in here than House of Bane and Blood by Alexis L. Menard, not only because a lot of my friends have read it and loved it, but because Brie herself loved this book. I didn't watch her favorites video just yet, but I know right around the middle of December she was very confident that this was going to be her favorite book of the year, and so I think that is more than enough hype for me to put this in this category. I'm hoping I love the story, but from what I know, it is a slow burn romantasy with Peaky Blinders vibes, which I also love that show, so super excited to read this. The next prompt is to read a book that fits the color of the year, and Brie said in her video that it did not have to be the Pantone color of the year, it could also be the Goodreads color of the year, and so that is what I decided to go with because I couldn't find any mocha brown covers, which is the Pantone color of the year. But the Goodreads color of the year is a type of darker emerald-ish green, and so for this I'm slotting in The Assassin's Blade. I am super nervous to start this series, but it is a beloved series, especially amongst my friends, and so I really want to dive into it and see what all the hype is about. So I think this is my year. The next prompt is to read a book by a POC author, and for this I'm slotting in Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. I just know this book is going to break me as well. I feel like I wanted to read this book when I first got it. I opened it, I read the first page, and I said, yeah, this is gonna hurt. Now's not the time. But I'm hoping that there will come a time in 2025 when I want to read this and I want to pick it up and I want to feel that hurt. So this is going on the list. Kennedy Ryan is a beautiful writer, and so I just know this is going to be a hit for me, and I'm super excited to have it in my 25 of 2025. The next prompt is to read a novella, and for this I'm slotting in Powerful by Lauren Roberts. I don't think I'm going to be doing a favorites video this year. I'm not entirely sure, but Powerless was my favorite book of 2024, and so I really would like to continue with the series, especially with the next book coming out in 2025, and so this is going on the list. The next prompt is to read a 5-star prediction, and for this I'm slotting in Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez because she is one of my favorite authors as well. And regarding her recent releases, everything has been a 5-star from me, so I'm really looking forward to this story. And also the girls are doing a read along for this one, so I'm happy that I get to read it with everyone when it comes out. I had to pause my recording because I couldn't remember what this next book that I chose for this next prompt was, how it was correlating to the prompt, and now I can't find the answer that I thought I had when I made this list, but I'm still going to use the book and I'm still going to tell you what I think. So the next prompt is Comped, which is supposed to be a book that has been compared to another book or series, and for this I slotted in The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and I could have sworn that when I picked this, the top of the synopsis on Goodreads had what it was compared to. Like sometimes they'll have a little bold section that will tell you like for fans of this, and I swear that was there when I made the list, but because I've taken so long to film my end of year slash beginning of year content, I'm not finding that, and now I feel like I'm delusional. And when I look it up on Google, it shows me that this book is compared to Truly Devious, but also A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, both of which I have never read, but I have heard great things about A Good Girl's Guide to Murder and terrible things about Truly Devious. So I don't really know what that means for me. However, like I said, I'm still gonna put this book in this category because this is one that I really, really want and need to read. I have a physical copy, but I don't have it here to hold up because I never took the box set out of its plastic wrap. So yeah, that's how fresh it is on my shelves. However, I have had this book on my radar since it came out. It was another one of those books that I went to Barnes and Nobles, I snapped a picture of it and said, I need you, and then got years and years later. But a couple of people that I know have read and loved this series, and I'm super excited to read it. I'm not entirely sure if I can recall the plot at this moment. I just know it has something to do with a girl inheriting something that she doesn't even know where it came from, and then having to play a bunch of games to get said inheritance. Super excited for it. I own the first 3 books in the series, so I'm hoping that I love it and can continue on with it afterwards. The next prompt is Friend Wreck, and for this I'm slotting in Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. This is a book that Dana mentions to me every time we talk about mafia romance and how much that I love and want to get more into the genre. She always mentions this book and tells me that I really should read it, and because I own the copy and this was the prompt, I felt like this was the perfect time to put it on my radar, and so here we are. Like I said, all I know about it is that it is a mafia romance, and Dana said it slaps, and that's all I really need to know. Next prompt is to read a book over 400 pages, and I damn near doubled that because I am putting on the biggest book on my shelves, that being, you guessed it, A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. I really need to catch up in this series, and in order for me to actually go into the Assassin's Blade, I just feel like that I have to finish this one first, and so this is going on the list. It is a priority for me this year, and I am fucking terrified. I enjoyed the first book. I loved the second book. I didn't really care about the third book. I loved the novella because it was like just a fun Christmassy time, and so I'm worried that this one is going to be a little bit too political for me. It's very hard for me to keep up with things like that, being that I am fairly new to the fantasy genre. But you know, my favorite book of 2024 was fantasy, and I have already read a couple fantasies this year that feel like they could make it to the end of the year for my top 10 books of the year as well. So I have, you know, I have mid hopes going into this. Like, it really, I enjoy the series. I just want to make sure I'm grasping those concepts, and so I'm just nervous, but it's going on the list. I hope that I can get to it because I really want to start Throne of Glass. The next prompt is to read a special edition, and for this I am putting in The Games Gods Play by Abigail Owen. I am super excited to read this. Oh my god, the fucking book is stunning. I'm super excited to read this. I hope that I love it. All I really know about it is that it is a trials type of game where they pick mortals, the gods pick mortals to fight for them, and Hades picks the female main character. I am super excited to read it. Like I said, hoping I love it because it's fucking gorgeous, and I would like to have and or start a special edition like sprayed edge collection. The next prompt is chapter titles. For this I'm starting in The Chalice of the Gods by Rick Riordan. This is the 6th book in the Percy Jackson series, which I started and zoomed through the first 5 books last year, so I'm super excited to be continuing on with this series. This was a movie that I watched quite a lot as a kid, but I had never dived into the books, and so I'm excited to, you know, be getting around to that now. The next prompt is to read a debut author. And for this, I just scrounged around on Goodreads and Google when I made my list, and I stumbled across the prettiest cover I have ever seen. And so for this, I'm sliding in Cruel is the Light by Sophie Clark. This is an epic new fantasy about a demon hunter and a foot soldier thrown together in a centuries-old war and the forbidden love that could change the course of history. Come on, I'm telling you guys, I am officially in my romantasy era, and that just sounds so good. Next prompt is mental health rep, and for this I'm sliding in another new release that I'm super excited about, and that is Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young. And I believe this one is following a marriage that is about to be torn apart, but they decide to go on this like woodsy excursion and hash out a couple things. And the rep that I know for sure is in there is grief. I don't know about anything else, but I know that battling with grief is a part of mental health, and so I feel like this fits the prompt. Anyways, I read Out on a Limb by this author last year and really enjoyed it, even though it had one of the worst tropes in my opinion. It was still a really good story and had really beautiful writing, so I'm excited for this book. Okay, and we're on the last set here. The next prompt is to read a book with a snake on the cover, and for this I'm sliding in Half-Blood by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is a series I actually know nothing about, even though I own the first 3 books, because I said they're selling sprayed edge books for less than $10. I need it. And so I got the first book, and then 2 of my friends bought me the second and third book. But when they bought those books, they wrote in their little gift notes that they loved this series. So I'm actually super excited that I started to collect them, because I'm hoping that I'll love it too. So yeah, this is the book for Snake on the Cover that I know nothing about, but Jennifer L. Armentrout is a well-known author, so I'm hoping that it is a hit. Next prompt is to read a self-published book, and for this one I am sliding in The Wallflower by Sally Louise. This is the Probably Smut special edition cover, and so again, I'm hoping I love it, because that box in specific I've had for a while now, and I skip all the time, either because I don't like what the book ends up being, or because I don't like the cover versus the original. Sometimes, sorry not sorry, I like the original covers better than the covers that they come up with, but this was one of the lucky ones that I decided to purchase. And this is a boxer romance, I believe, or underground MMA fighter, I'm not sure, but it came with this art. Clock it. Yeah, I'm super excited. I need to know all the tea. It's a very big fucking book, but yes, she is a self-published author. She published this book herself, and then of course Probably Smut came and teamed up with her for this special edition cover. So super excited to read this one as well, hoping that I love it. Then we have New to You author, and I could not pass up the opportunity to find a way to fit this book into my 25 and 2025, because all of my friends are raving about this one as well, and that is Pen Pal by J.T. Gessinger. I've heard that the twist at the end of this is just out of this world and really blows your mind, and so I need to get to it. Another one that has pretty sprayed edges. Second to last prompt is to read a TBR vet, and this is the only book that will overlap with one of my other challenges, and that is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer, because I really need to read this. So I said I'm putting it on 2 challenges, because I can't keep passing it up. If you've seen that other video, then you know that this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but with chronic illness rep, and I need to read it. I have had it on my shelves for way too long. I've had it on a few TBRs, and I still have not gotten to it. Last prompt, which is actually the only prompt that I don't have a book for, is to read a book from another challenge. And the reason I don't have a book for this yet is not only because there are no other challenges as of yet, you know, it's the beginning of the year, but because my besties host Rom-Com Swoonathon, and it is literally going to be next month. And so I figured, even if I don't have a book to slide in for this right now, I can fulfill this next month when they announce and come out with all the prompts and I figure out what I'm going to read, one of those books will work for this, and so I can actually tick it off early either way. So that is everything that I have to read. Those are my 25 books for 2025. Let me know what you think about the selection. Clearly Dario loves it, even though he's not actually talking to me. But yes, this is the stack that I'm working with. Let me know if you have any comments or you think I should prioritize any of these. Leave that down below in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching and being here. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.